This one for Rolly Gray, did it his way. Remembering Bolorado dead and gone. Every time he gone a time he come back home. Oh no, you don't see me, cause I come in the rain. And when I go, when I go, when I go, when I go in the rain. Children back, move. He did it his way. Children back, move. He did it his way. Just to show where the stars are blue. What goes up must come down. Shows a man that is born of a woman has a short time to live. Well, agreeable, he really knows. Yeah, that sailor man sound. Well, agreeable, he really knows. Yeah, that sailor man sound. I go to the island, the one that I call home.
Tonight, controversy continues over the sex offenders registry. This as the death investigation is underway. And later, a pledge made to restore public parks. Eyewitness News starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Janaea Noel. Thanks so much for joining us. Another brazen shooting in the Chippenham community, leaving 3 men in hospital. This much coming in from police an hour before news time. Officials say the victims were transported to hospital via private vehicle. It's the second triple shooting that's happening in this area in recent weeks. Earlier this month, a 21-year-old father succumbed to injuries while 2 men survived a shooting incident at the fatal victim's residence on Constitution Drive. Weeks before that, a 34-year-old man known to police also gunned down in a brazen attack. It comes as police officials have pledged to take action against the recent uptick in serious crimes in that community. At this time, the status of today's victims are unknown, but it's a story we're closely following. On to some other news tonight. Should Bahamians have access to a public sex offender registry? It's a debate that has resurfaced amid growing concern over sexual offenses, with some arguing that greater access to information could help protect communities. Our Lyndon Ritchie Jr. has the details tonight.
Despite growing public demands for a national sex offender registry, government is signaling that a public list of convicted sex offenders may never become a reality. Social Services Minister Barbara Cartwright says while the government understands the public's concerns, making the registry public could create new risk, including the possibility of vigilante justice.
I'm concerned about that because it will happen. If persons know that a sex offender is next door, I'm sure there'll be problems.
The issue has returned to the forefront following 3 alleged sexual assaults reported this week, including cases involving 2 teenage girls and a 91-year-old woman. The incidents have renewed calls for the public to have access to the information about convicted sex offenders, with many arguing that communities have a right to know who is living among them. Government's concerns, however, are rooted in more than theory. In 2023, convicted serial sex offender Sidney Cooper was placed into protective police custody after his release from prison sparked public outrage. Angry residents gathered outside the home where he was staying, threatening to attack him, forcing police to remove him from the area for his own safety. But Cartwright says while the registry must remain current, access to it should continue to be restricted.
I don't think it should be a public record, but I think that certain institutions should be made aware of who those persons are.
The minister's comments echoed those made earlier by Bahamas Crisis Center Executive Director Sandra Dean Patterson, who also argued against making the registry public, citing concerns about vigilante retaliation and public safety. Cartwright says the focus should be on closely monitoring offenders after their release and reducing the risk that they commit further offenses.
We need to know where they are for our own safety, because sometimes persons never stop. They continue, they may have gone in jail, they didn't have the proper training or that they need, and so they come out and they commit the same crime.
According to officials, the National Sex Offender Registry has been managed by a dedicated unit within the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services since 2021. While the database continues to track convicted offenders, government maintains it is not intended for public access. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Meantime, Women United President Lisa Bostwick-Dean calling out what she describes as a rape culture here in the country. In an interview with Eyewitness News, Dean said that not enough is being done to truly eradicate the issue, and it goes far beyond simply making arrests.
We live in a rape culture. But punishing offenders is not enough. We must start again with a fresh generation, teaching our children that assaulting any person, man, woman, or child is wrong, and that we all have a duty to protect the vulnerable and call out perpetrators. Women United also believes that a public sex offender registry is one necessary tool to help protect potential victims. Regrettably, the government's allocation of approximately $43,000 to the Protection Against Violence Commission is woefully inadequate to address these issues. We are not appeased by promises to find more by shuffling existing budget allocations, which will only result in other social needs receiving less.
Well, Bostwick-Dean also seeking to make it clear that the role of men is still paramount in society, despite the growing issues.
We need our men to take a stand for us. Stand up for us, protect us. Speak up and speak out against these heinous acts so that the perpetrators can see that men are not in favor of or tolerating this kind of deviant and demonic behavior.
Meantime, a series of recent sexual offense cases renewing concern across the country and sparking a wider conversation about how the Bahamas should respond. Our Rebecca Bain has the details tonight.
A string of recent alleged sexual assaults has left many Bahamians questioning whether enough is being done to protect the country's most vulnerable. Christian Council President Mario Moxie and Bahamas College of Bishops President Bishop Walter Hanchel says while the impact on victims is devastating, the rise in offenses also points to deeper issues that require a national response.
These perverts, these sickos need to be dealt with in a much stronger way.
To touch and violate a 91-year-old woman, touching a woman is horrific in any sense, but at that age and children is unconscionable.
Moxie says addressing the problem will take more than tougher penalties, calling for greater emphasis on values, accountability, and community involvement.
Everyone has to get involved. This is not just a police matter. It's not just a judicial matter. It's not a government issue. It's not a church issue solely. It's not a education issue. Everyone has to get involved, including parents, and it begins with us teaching character values.
But Hanchel says any effort to curb sexual offenses must also include stronger enforcement of existing laws.
Now, the cat o' nine tail is on the books, but we know the type of pushback we get on that. But at least they could be caned. They should receive some form of capital punishment plus hard labor. If somebody is thinking about molesting a child, they would think twice.
The recent cases have also reignited debate over whether the country's sex offender registry should be made public. In an Eyewitness News social media poll, 94% of respondents said communities have a right to know who is listed on the registry. Moxie says any decision to make the registry public must be carefully implemented.
Also very cognizant that these are moral issues, and so there are other things that has to be addressed as well. We don't want to make assumptions. We want to do our investigation. We want to find out what is the best approach. We don't want to do it from an emotive perspective. We want to make sure that it's thorough. We want to make sure that it's comprehensive, and of course that it's spiritual based.
As the debate continues over how best to address the country's rise in sexual offenses, religious leaders agree that protecting the most vulnerable must remain the priority. Rebecca Bain, Eyewitness News.
Well, as the Bahamas continues to see an uptick in reported cases of child abuse, advocates say the problem extends far beyond the country's shores. Executive Director of the Bahamas Crisis Center, Dr. Sandra Dean Patterson, says the recent reports are a part of a much larger global trend.
I want to share with you these figures because they really are very alarming. This was in 2023. And depression, 28% reported feeling depressed or hopeless or sad. 26% said they always felt lonely. 27% admitted practicing self-harm, although they didn't want to kill themselves, with self-mutilation, you know, the cutting that happens with children. 25% considered suicide. 23% made a suicide plan. 20% actually attempted suicide.
Young men are also disproportionately affected, she said. She's urging parents to be especially attentive, warning that boys are often less likely to speak up about emotional or mental health challenges.
Is the boy crisis that we're seeing, the fact that there's so many boys and teenage young men who are in trouble, is that a result of fatherless homes or fatherless homes and the loss of the extended family? Let's look at that. Mothers closing their eyes to their daughters bringing money home from boyfriends. Is pornography, the increasing access to pornography on the internet.
Meanwhile, authorities investigating another suspected homicide after the body of a man was found in bushes in Yellow Elder Gardens earlier today. It's unclear whether the victim, believed to be in his 30s, was a resident of the area, as details are still limited at this time. But here's what police shared with reporters on scene.
Shortly before 8 this morning, Police Control Room received a call from persons in the area that they discovered a body through a track road off Melvin Road in the Yellow Elder area. When officers responded, along with EMS, they discovered an adult male with no vital signs and visible injuries to the upper body. Because we have limited information in this matter, we're asking anyone with any information concerning this matter to please contact the police and provide that information to us. Foul play is suspected in this matter, and we are investigating this matter as a suspicious death.
Meantime, the Court of Appeal rejecting an application by former Long Island MP Adrian Gibson and 4 co-accused to declare a mistrial, discharge the jury, and have the trial judge recuse herself. They argued their constitutional right to a fair trial had been breached, citing concerns about how the jury was impaneled, alleged bias involving a juror, and the trial judge's impartiality. But the justices ruled those issues did not warrant halting that trial, saying any challenges should be dealt with through the normal appeal process after the case is concluded. Now, the court also acknowledging that 7 of the 9 jurors were not drawn from the 2023 jurors list, but found that fact alone was not enough to stop those proceedings. The judges also dismissing claims of bias involving a juror and a trial judge. The ruling comes after the prosecution closed its case. It's clearing the way for the high-profile corruption trial to continue before the courts. Well, a newly appointed Parks and Beaches chair providing an update on a highly anticipated audit into the authority. Our Danielle Dean has the story tonight.
Months after questions were raised about millions of dollars spent by the Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority, the audit promised by the new chairman is now complete. But while the review has wrapped up, the public is still waiting to see what it found.
The audit is completed and it will be laid in due course. So it went well, and it should be laid soon or at the appropriate time. In any audit or in any budgetary debate, you have access to the expenditure because we lay up and we bring the documents and we tell you exactly how we've spent the money.
The audit follows public scrutiny over tens of millions of dollars spent under the authority's former chairman, Mikel Bonnaby. Critics have questioned whether that level of spending resulted in noticeable improvements to the country's parks and beaches. During his budget debate contribution, Chairman Jamal Strawn said his administration will place a stronger emphasis on accountability and transparency.
When I spoke about transparency and access, really, it would be, you would have noticed the short clippings of what we actually do beyond cutting grass, like the lifeguards, the side road and side bridges, safety protocols, and even more to be displayed so that the populace knows exactly all of the functions of beaches and parks.
Strawn also pushed back against any suggestion that his comments were meant to criticize his predecessor, saying he recognizes the work done under Bonnaby's leadership while focusing on building on that foundation.
No, I was satisfied with it, and I actually thank him for all of his efforts, and I look forward to building on his successes.
Speaking during a staff training seminar today, Strawn said his goal is to take the authority to the next level while preserving what has already been accomplished.
When I say new era, it was reflective of someone new inside the seat itself. Just like I stated initially, we would be building on what the former chairman had. So it's a new era because of a new chair. But the transparency, all of those things are just building on what was already there.
While no date has been set for the release of the audit, Strawn says it will be made public once final administrative steps are complete. Danielle Dean, Eyewitness News.
Well, the Bahamas Public Parks and Beaches Authority to facilitate the reconstruction of 5 public parks every 3 months beginning in September. And while Chairman Jamal Strawn has not revealed which parks will be a part of the first 5, he says the authority has every intent on beginning that process after the summer months.
5 parks per quarter.
Per quarter.
Yeah. So yeah, there's 5 parks per quarter. It's an ambitious endeavor, but my team and I are definitely up to it, especially with the support of the Minister of Environment as we go forward. We aim to start that quarter timeline September. Yeah. September, October. So it'll be month 1, September, October, 1, 2, 3, quarter. We have our initial grouping, yeah. But of course, it's only privy to internal executives for right now.
Meantime, Eyewitness News turning to social media, posing the question, what would make the biggest difference to your local public park? 61% of participants voted for better maintenance and cleanliness. 22% voted new playgrounds and recreational facilities. 12% voted for improved security and lighting. 5% voted for more green spaces and landscaping. Be sure to continue to participate in our daily digital polls as your voice matters. Well, as the Bahamas Gaming Board takes a closer look at companies believed to be offering betting services in the Bahamas without a license, Chairman of the Clearing Banks Association, Gowan Bowe, says local banks already treat online gaming transactions as high risk. He says financial institutions have systems in place that would identify those transactions and, in some cases, restrict them from continuing. Bowe says that while some card payments may be processed initially, repeated transactions can be flagged through the banking system's risk monitoring process. He also says if large sums of money believed to be gaming winnings are deposited onto an account, this could trigger additional compliance reviews. His comments coming after Eyewitness News reported that the Gaming Board has sent correspondence to about 13 offshore operators believed to be conducting business in the Bahamas without a local gaming license. Well, we've added another access point to make sure you're up to date with the latest news. Follow the Eyewitness News WhatsApp channel, scan that QR code on your screen, or visit our social media pages for a direct link. While you're there, don't forget to follow Eyewitness News on Instagram and Facebook. But if you've got a news tip or if you've seen news in the making, call the Ion News hotline, 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms, Eyewitness News Bahamas @gmail.com. If you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube page, share your thoughts about today's stories in the comments section. We want to hear from you. We're just getting started in Eyewitness News tonight, but when we come back, consumers still reeling from the economic pinch brought on by inflation. We've got that story coming up. And later tonight, there remains growing concern on proper parenting. We've got the details right after this break.
Move fast, move smart with KFC. Monday, start with crunchy deals. Tuesday, you already know it's crazy. Wednesday, keep it under $10. Thursday, the Kentucky Crunch for $7.50. Friday, the meal deal for $9.85. Saturday night, we got you covered. And Sunday, no stove today. The fill-up box feeds the family. Outsmart the week with KFC.
This year, Island Luck Sportsbook sent one of their very own customers all the way to San Antonio to watch Game 5 of the NBA Finals. The Knicks closed it out right then and there. No Game 6, no Game 7. Our customer was sitting in that arena the night the championship was decided. That's the kind of luck we talking about at Island Luck Sportsbook. Winners live here. Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
Brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back. Here's a look at your Eyewitness News gas tracker. You're getting the cheapest tonight at Shell, $7.03. Esso coming in at $7.07. Rubis still the highest tonight, $7.34. Your local prices at the pump. While you're filling up from the pump to paying the light bill to covering healthcare costs, the price of living continues to increase every day. It was higher in March here in the Bahamas. The latest figures from the Bahamas National Statistical Institute showing the cost of housing, including electricity, water, and other utilities, rising by 4.4% over the past year, while healthcare and transportation costs also moved higher. Motorists were hit with another increase at the pumps as gas prices climbed to 5.4% and diesel rose 6.4% compared to February. Clothing and footwear also became more expensive during the month, rising to some 2.7%. Overall, the country's annual inflation rate reaching 3.1% in March as prices continued to rise across a number of essential goods and services. Well, while officials continue to promote the tourism industry, a local environmental stakeholder is expressing concern about the industry being a double-edged sword, that is, one that serves as an economic lifeline while also a grave threat to coral reefs. Executive Director of the Bahamas National Trust, Lakeisha Anderson-Roll, expressing those concerns as Bahamian and regional marine scientists champion their calls for a more coordinated response to the stony coral tissue loss disease. This as it continues to endanger ecosystems critical to fisheries, tourism, and coastal protection.
The tourism industry also serves as a vector to spreading the disease. Before you go in and dive and snorkel, to clean and wash off your gear, both before and after, to help with limiting the spread of the disease. So that would be one of the points to tell the public. And when you're diving and snorkeling, also be mindful of touching the corals because that can also help with spreading the disease. There were efforts in the early stages of the sighting of stony coral tissue loss disease, but we need to get back to putting those efforts out into the public domain. Our dive operators can serve as support systems, but the general public also has a role to play.
Well, the Bahamas Crisis Center making preparations to observe its inaugural Global Day of Parents. That's on Saturday, June 27th, and Sunday, as executives acknowledge a major absence of proper parenting. Leah Green, Bahamas Crisis Center legal advisor, acknowledging poverty is one of the major issues that is both the reason and result of many family structures lacking present and proper parenting practices.
In the family courts, we deal with maintenance, and some of the things that come forward is that children are not getting the support of both parents to meet their needs. And I would like to emphasize that as the Millennium Goals you said was poverty. We have some people in the Bahamas who are living in poverty, and we need to tackle that and look at it and find ways to bring more resources to families if they are going to be strong and carry out their role.
Well, the center is expected to partner with the Department of Social Services and Advocacy organization Marriage, Children, Family Alliance to facilitate Global Day of Parents festivities this weekend. Cheryl Joaquin, the founder, says beyond Mother's and Father's Day, this will mean more emphasis being placed on the importance of intentional parenthood.
The actual days of parenting is the 26th and the 27th and the 28th. Again, being proclaimed by the Prime Minister. And during those days, we want to intentionally encourage parents to spend time with their children. We just finished Mother's Day and Father's Day, but these days will be additional days to encourage parents to spend time with their children. We, again, intentionally did it for 2 days, because there are two parents, and also to be able to give those who celebrate on Saturdays an opportunity in their churches to be able to encourage and to speak about this very important topic.
Well, with nearly 40,000 Bahamians now identified as living with a disability, according to new data from the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, government is being encouraged to stay the course in providing critical support to the disabled community. Progressive Liberal Party Senator Keno Wong says the figures serve as a reminder that the country's most vulnerable residents cannot be overlooked.
Initiatives aimed at improving accessibility for elderly, disabled residents deserve our full support. There are far too many Bahamians who face challenges simply entering our lives, leaving their homes. The provisions of ramps, railings, bathroom modification, and accessibility restores independence, safety, dignity to some of our most vulnerable citizens. When an elderly resident can safely navigate their home without assistance, when a person living with a disability can enter their home independently, this is not merely infrastructure. This is a government demonstrating that it understands the value and worth of every citizen.
Well, Wong is voicing support for continued investment in the equipment, resources, and services they need to thrive, explaining why he believes this issue must remain a national priority.
The most test of government is how that government treats those who are in the dawn of life, their children, those who are in the twilight of life, the elderly, and those who are in the shadow of life, the sick, the needy, and the disabled. Madam President, those words should guide us all. A budget that builds on progress must be a budget that lifts people, strengthens communities, protects families, and creates opportunities. This is why investment in community development, neighborhood revitalization, housing improvements, social intervention programs, and family support initiatives are not expenditures.
While health officials are encouraging Bahamians to know their HIV status as the country joins the region in observing HIV Regional Testing Day, the annual initiative held at the R.M. Bailey Park has been observed across the Caribbean since 1997. It aims to promote free, confidential HIV testing, encourage early detection, and help reduce the stigma surrounding the virus. The Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Darville, says recent data has shaped the ministry's approach with a renewed focus on encouraging individuals to get tested as early as the legal age of consent, emphasizing that early diagnosis leads to better health outcomes.
To know your status. Early detection is the best solution in any type of illness, and there's no need to be afraid. It's good to know exactly where you stand. And the statistics in the Bahamas is extremely well because the program is a well-organized, structured program where all the medications are free of charge. The counseling, monitoring the viral loads, and the whole list goes on, and it's reflective in our numbers. So one of our reports indicated, a public health report indicated that younger people are becoming more sexually active at a younger age. And that's a very alarming statistics, which means now that we need to up our educational programs to ensure that individuals who are going to be sexually active understand the importance of protection and to be to be able to practice safe sex.
Director of the National HIV, AIDS, and Infectious Disease Program, Dr. Nakia Forbes, says initiatives like this one are more than just public awareness. She says they're life-saving opportunities.
Initiatives are very, very impactful. They've allowed tens of thousands of people to get to know their HIV status. In 2025, we tested about 347 people for HIV in the regional testing day month of June alone. We do monitor the HIV epidemic since the start of the HIV epidemic. And so we do have some targets. We are in solidarity with the United Nations platform on HIV and AIDS, UN-AIDS. Fast Track to End AIDS, and that looks at diagnosing as many people living with HIV as possible. We want to diagnose 95% by 2030. We would like 95% of people knowing their status on effective medication, and for those persons to reach a gold standard of having a suppressed viral load, an undetectable viral load, and that basically is a test that measures the amount of copies of HIV in a small sample of blood. And the aim is to find none if the person is on effective medication. That's called undetectable.
So to come in Eyewitness News tonight, the Cancer Society breaking ground for an expanded facility. We've got the details coming up, but first, a check on tonight's weather forecast.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods. Taste the difference.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. A major expansion of cancer care is now underway here at home, with officials breaking ground on a new facility aimed at giving more patients access to life-saving treatment. Our student intern, Del Renee Mitchell, is on the story tonight.
Cancer remains one of the leading health challenges facing the Bahamas, touching thousands of families every year. Now, a major expansion of the Bahamas Cancer Society's treatment facility is promising to give more patients access to the care they need. Officials broke ground today on the expansion project, which will allow the facility to treat more patients. President of the Bahamas Cancer Society, Rochelle Wilkinson, says the addition will help address capacity limits that have previously left some patients waiting or unable to receive treatment.
Of course, for some people, if they're coming to do treatment and they're going to be here for a week or a month,
finding a place to stay can be very difficult and extremely expensive. So we are trying to provide more capacity to be able to help more people coming in.
The expansion could also extend the facility's impact beyond the Bahamas. Founder Susan Roberts says the center may one day be able to assist patients from other countries when cancer treatment services in their own jurisdictions are unavailable or disrupted.
We have had people from, I think it was Barbados or Trinidad, when their own machine radiation broke down, and we housed them. They paid a little, but they were delighted to come here.
Pastor Mario Moxie, a board director of the Bahamas Cancer Society and a cancer survivor, says the project represents hope for families facing one of life's toughest diagnoses. He believes expanding access to treatment could make a real difference for future patients.
It's unfortunate that some people don't have that community, and so a facility like this fills in that gap, steps in and able to help persons, speak life into them, care for them. And so the atmosphere is always a wholesome one that breathes life and energy back into patients.
Construction is expected to be completed by the middle of next year. Once finished, the expanded facility will be able to serve more patients as demand for cancer continues to grow. Tell Renee Mitchell, Eyewitness News.
Also to come in Eyewitness News tonight, our Devontae Hanna has your latest check on sports right after this break.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
Once something becomes the common behavior, it is the common behavior. When you operate at that level, personal emotions simply cannot float to the top.
For the average normal person that goes to the store, things like that affect us.
They must be judicious in the execution of their duty.
Well, I think whatever the nurses want, give it to them. Pages, you know, you just do everything on your phone now. You see how old he is?
What are we walking back? That Bimini is no longer an island?
That's not what he was trying to say. Carla, I don't even know what bread basket I'm serving anymore either. What do y'all even say?
Eyewitness Sports is brought to you by 103.5 The Beat.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Devontae Hanna, filling in for Laurentia Smith. Welcome to Eyewitness Sports. Well, Jonquel Jones delivering a blunt message to her New York Liberty teammates after last night's crushing defeat 99-88 to the Seattle Storm, the defeat marking the Liberty's third loss in its last 4 games as the team dropped to 12-7 on the season. Jones finishing with a team high of 26 points on 10 of 7 shooting, including 3 3-pointers and 8 rebounds. There's some good news for the night, but still the gallant effort wasn't enough to overcome the Seattle squad that led by as much as 16 in the fourth. Now, in her postgame, Jones laying out her demands.
I think we have to come out with a certain level of intensity, no matter who we're playing. A certain level of, attention to detail to the scouting report, and the ways that the coaching staff has prepared us to be successful. I don't think we had that tonight. And so we have to look in the mirror individually and really find ways to be better defensively first and foremost. I mean, you give up 99 against a team, and it's a hard night for you. So we gotta take care of the basketball. We gotta play better defensively, and we gotta box out and keep people off of the offensive glass. So I think tonight we lost, and very crucial areas, and when you lose in those areas, it's really hard to win.
Well, still talking basketball, the Freeport City Council is capping off a youth basketball camp this week at the St. George's Gymnasium. The camp officially ends tomorrow and was open to boys and girls between the ages of 7 and 17. Organizers say the camp is designed to help young adults develop their skills, build discipline, and learn the fundamentals of the game. The camp is being led by camp director Jay Philippe.
We've had over 80 basketball players, both boys and girls, ages 7 to 17, taking part in this year's basketball camp. We've been working on the basic fundamentals of basketball, the game that is, which is passing, dribbling, and also shooting. We've also added the IQ aspect of basketball in this year's camp. This is something we've been doing for so many years now. Kids from just about every school in Grand Bahama, the President's kids from Tabernacle, Jack Havens from Georges, Sunland, Grand Bahama Academy, St. Paul's, Freeport Primary, Bishop Michael Eldon School, 8 Mile Rock High. We've had so many kids that have been a part of this camp over the years, and that continues to grow.
Well, that's a look at sports. Once again, I'm Devontae Hanna. News continues in a moment.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At Investar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
Everybody get up.
We all know there are ways we can help. Your help can go even further. Be an everyday superhero. Donate to Hands for Hunger.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
Well, next week I'll have the opportunity to represent Eyewitness News and the Bahamas during a 3-week media seminar in the People's Republic of China, sponsored by the Chinese Embassy here in the Bahamas. The program expected to bring together journalists from professional training from all around the world. It's a cultural exchange, and we'll have discussions on the evolving global media landscape. I've also been invited to serve as the training representative during the opening ceremony. As journalists, we spend our careers asking questions, seeking content, and reporting on world issues, opportunities to experience another country firsthand and engage directly with people, culture, and ideas are all an important part of that process. Now, this 3-week program will begin next week. Well, that wraps up news this Friday. Coming up and Beyond the Headlines with Shanique Miller, it's a look at all of this week's top stories. That's coming up and Beyond the Headlines. It starts right after this. That does it for us here at Eyewitness News. It's certainly been a pleasure having you in our company tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Janae Nawal saying good night and be safe, everyone.
Sportsbooks at one of their very own customers, all the way to San Antonio to watch Game 5 of the NBA Finals. The Knicks closed it out right then and there. No Game 6, no Game 7. Our customer was sitting in that arena the night the championship was decided. That's the kind of luck we talking about at Island Luck Sportsbook. Winners live here. Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, callers, and advisors on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2026. All rights reserved.
Coming up tonight, the government shuts down the sexual offender registry possibility. The church weighing in on sexual offenses in the country. Prime Minister Davis says no comment to the latest Eric Gardner news coming from the Florida court. And Sabas Bastian, the MP for Fort Charlotte, giving relief to residents in Fort Charlotte. We hear exactly what he's doing. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. Week in Review Fridays. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Could the reality of having a national sex offender registry published in the Bahamas be slipping through the cracks? It's a real question tonight. The government says the risk is far greater than the benefit. We get this story from Linton Ritchie Jr.
Despite growing public demands for a national sex offender registry, government is signaling that a public list of convicted sex offenders may never become a reality. Social Services Minister Barbara Cartwright says while the government understands the public's concerns, making the registry public could create new risk, including the possibility of vigilante justice.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that because it will happen. If persons know that a sex offender is next door, I'm sure there'll be problems.
The issue has returned to the forefront following 3 alleged sexual assaults reported this week, including cases involving 2 teenage girls and a 91-year-old woman. The incidents have renewed calls for the public to have access to the information about convicted sex offenders, with many arguing that communities have a right to know who is living among them. Government's concerns, however, are rooted in more than theory. In 2023, convicted serial sex offender Sidney Cooper was placed into protective police custody after his release from prison sparked public outrage. Angry residents gathered outside the home where he was staying, threatening to attack him, forcing police to remove him from the area for his own safety. But Cartwright says while the registry must remain current, access to it should continue to be restricted.
I don't think it should be a public record, but I think that certain institutions should be made aware of who those persons are.
The minister's comments echoed those made earlier by Bahamas Crisis Center Executive Director Sandra Dean Patterson, who also argued against making the registry public, citing concerns about vigilante retaliation and public safety. Cartwright says the focus should be on closely monitoring offenders after their release and reducing the risk that they commit further offenses.
We need to know where they are for our own safety because sometimes persons never stop. They continue, they may have gone in jail, they didn't have the proper training or that they need, and so they come out and they commit the same crime.
According to officials, the National Sex Offender Registry has been managed by a dedicated unit within the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services since 2021. While the database continues to track convicted offenders, government maintains it is not intended for public access. Winton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Well, you heard that. That seems to be going nowhere fast. In fact, all week, Sandra Dean Patterson has been speaking out about the matter. She is opposed to having a national sexual offenders registry, basically saying much of the same thing. Well, what does the panel think? This panel in particular has not weighed in on that all week, and so we're going to jump in there. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Leslie Miller, Ellington Ferguson, Glenroy Pratt. Gentlemen, good evening to each of you.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Colleagues.
Now, Leslie, before we even jump into this, I want to say, of course, we greeted you in the newsroom. I know Ellington walked in at the same time and he saw us. We were also happy to say hello. Leslie Miller, Potcake, welcome back. Good to have you and God's grace on you. How are you feeling?
Good. I appreciate being back. I want to thank God for keeping me safe in the hospital. I also want to thank Dr. Bettel, Mr. Wells for making the arrangements. But more important, to thank the wonderful doctors and nurses in the Princess Margaret Hospital. And I'll tell you a little story. When I fell ill in church, in about 15 minutes, an ambulance came for me to pick me up. Mm-hmm. And I asked them where they taken me. So they say, Doctor's Hospital. I say, for what?
I know you do. I know you say
no.
no.
I want you, that's where your daughter said you got to go, Yazzie and Leslie. Mm-hmm. I said, go to Princess Margaret Hospital. So we had a big argument. They dropped me there. I went into the bed. They took me in with the bed. About 20 minutes later, a man and a woman showed up next to my bed, with their bed, telling me to get on their bed. I said, for what? So you got a doctor's hospital? I said, all to understanding. I'm born in this hospital. I can stay here till I get well.
Leslie, you were even rowing in the hospital?
I born there. I live around the corner.
I know.
10 minutes from
I know
there.
you have stressed.
I love Princess Margaret.
Only
I love
Princess
the
Margaret Hospital you go to.
The nurses and everybody who was there. Mm-hmm. Listen, I couldn't ask more. I was sorry when I had to leave. You know?
No, we were happy, and I know they were happy because Leslie was not behaving. Glenroy and Ellington, Leslie, everybody was calling Leslie. He wasn't behaving.
I just want to thank them from the bottom of my heart for the job that they did. I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. I always said, I love the Princess Margaret Hospital.
You have said that.
Love the nurses, the doctors, and all the staff did a wonderful job. They make you feel as home. The other hospital, man, that's for the muckamucks. I'm a potcake. You know, I like to be kept in a place, you know, where I'm just a regular brother. Yeah. You know, I don't want the high end. I'm not used to that, you know.
But you are doing well, Leslie.
I'm good shape.
Thanks be to God.
Good shape.
We're so happy this Friday evening.
I just came from a funeral of one of our superstars in this country, I want to say, Glenroy Sanders. We call him Flo, who was one of the greatest athletes this country ever produced.
What was his discipline?
He was a master in golf, one of the best we had in pool, the best we had in baseball, cricket. I mean, you name the sport, and Glenroy was there. One of the best athletes we ever produced in this country, and a byproduct of the Fort Hill and Mason Addition, where I was born. I really want to give his family my deepest sympathy and give the hospital staff my sincerest thank you, especially all the pretty nurses there who was. I know that was coming. Give me a little rap now and then. For some reason, when I heard he didn't want to leave, I knew there was a factor. I was going to ask him to give me the names of the persons that took care of him.
Ellington, that's what we need.
One of them used to bathe me every morning. Okay. He wants to go back.
Oh, my Lord, I tell you.
Madam,
Leslie,
I felt like my mother when she used to bathe me when I was a baby.
Leslie, you and I, we'll speak. We'll speak. Minister Miller.
I thank God for all the nice words that were
we'll speak
given to me on Facebook, on the other things that you all put out there. Very, very, very grateful for your support and your prayers. I didn't realize you thought it would be in that sense. I thought my detractors would have taken the opportunity to tell me.
No one
I
did.
hope I said it, but no one did that.
No one did that.
I am really thankful to God and thankful for you all. I'll always be there for you. Your podcast is always here. I got your back.
Yeah.
And you had mine too.
Even those
and
who
I thank God.
may disagree with you politically, no one did. Everybody prayed for your recovery. And this evening, we are grateful,
Really grateful.
that you are here to again continue moving the country forward in your contributions
And I won't go back
that you
and
make.
get
No, you don't.
paid again, man.
No, Leslie. You could take your own shower. You do. You go take your own shower and relax. You don't need to go. No way.
That's the first time in 70 years. So I get paid, man.
Listen, I didn't know them nurses at PM. You always just doing that because what? Anyway, listen.
I questioned whether anything was ever wrong with Leslie.
No, I don't think it was. Believe
Leslie
me.
wanted that ride to the hospital.
Because every time I called in Ellington, guess what? Hello.
He's answering.
Yeah, hello.
Live and
Yeah,
strong.
but
Every
then,
single
But
time.
then Leslie and Yazzie took my phone, man.
I'm happy. No, because I said,
That's the
Leslie,
regular man,
I
you know?
told Leslie,
Taking my phone, man.
you've got to take his phone. Too
Yeah,
many
God,
people
you
are
know, man,
calling
I
and they are
appreciate that.
stressing him out. Take the phone. So I'm happy
Taking
she
my
listened.
phone, man.
They're coming to
Leslie,
America. You know, he wanted a royal bath.
yes. You understand? No, I'm
I missed
happy.
that, man, for sure, man.
No, I'm happy they did. Those daughters of yours, yeah, they are very firm, and so I'm happy that they did that, because when we spoke, she was like, "This is what's happening." I say, "Step in and take his phone." It's as simple as that. Yeah.
They're going to teeth my phone.
They're very
I
wonderful,
appreciate that.
wonderful ladies. But gentlemen, listen, you heard Sandra Dean Patterson all week talking and speaking out against something that people are saying is needed. It's needed in this nation, a sexual offenders registry. It's needed because people need to know who the offenders are. Like in the United States, you know who the offenders are, so that the community is safer, because these people obviously have to come back out in the community, but many times they're not rehabilitated. Well, the government now seems to be siding with her. Your thoughts? Jump in, anybody.
You know, I believe this is a great step in the right direction. I believe that they need to have the sexual offenders registry, because obviously, we can't have these perpetrators around our young people and so on, and especially our young children. And the other thing is that I think that we also need to look at extending the time served for some of these sexual predators, because I think right now, the current punishment that is levied upon them is too lax.
Yeah, Glenroy, I want to insert here, Glenroy, 1 second, so you understand. She's been fighting against a public registry. That's okay if there's a registry, just don't go and make it public. And it seems as though whatever her lobbying is, she seemed to have a lot of muscle, that the government is saying, you know what, perhaps she's right. The risks are greater than the benefits.
Why is that?
Well, I understand why she probably wants to do that, but the reality is we need to have that information out there in the public.
Mm-hmm.
There should not be any cuddling and covering up anybody who is doing such acts to our young children. They should be protected. They are the priority, not the offender. The offender needs to pay the price for his actions, and then we need to ensure that they get the right penalty for the actions that they've committed. We can't play around with this thing. This is too important, because while they have an opportunity to get out and re-offend, the persons who have been offended will have to live with that for the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Also, by the way, it's good to see Brother Miller again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Very grateful.
Shanique, this is a very, very tender situation that we have been grappling with over the years. I think that there should be a sex offenders registry. I think we need to be careful how we put this in place and how we handle this, because we also need to look at what we as Bahamian have become. While it's heinous what these persons would have done to women and girls and young children, boys included, it's a heinous act. Nevertheless, after they would have served time, and I think we should do more than serving time, we should have a psychiatrist and whatever help we can give them when they have been sentenced to whatever time they've been given, so that we can try to get these people on a path to help these people with these mental illness. On the other hand, when these people are released, there's some Bahamians that would go after them and literally take their lives. We've seen it. I mean, we've seen it even in as simple as accident on the streets. people come and they are hurting and maiming one another and shooting and stabbing over simple accidents. So we've got to be very, very, very careful as we move forward in this. Very careful and very cautious. Everybody deserves justice, but everybody deserves also to be protected.
I don't really understand the argument here. First of all, it's in play now. It's in place in most developed countries in the world. You know, I wonder if you all realize that just day before yesterday, a 91-year-old grandmother was raped.
What?
Exactly.
Yes, 91 years old.
By her own relative.
Was raped.
Oh my God.
91.
Come on, man.
Yes.
And just Tuesday, a 6-year-old was raped. Every week.
Yes.
I mean, and you talking about putting them on a register?
On a register.
It shouldn't be on a register.
And then keeping the register private.
But first of all, when they go to court, the name is going to be published in the newspaper, so those families who are hurt already know who they are. They're the ones who reported the incident.
Especially if it's a minor, it don't publish the name to protect the minor who was.
But that's silly.
abused.
We've got to. I feel as though we've got
You're
to
protecting
stop that.
someone who's already been viciously hurt.
Yeah. Why?
You already mess up their lives by having these big, rusty grown men take advantage. Like last week, this fella, his girlfriend, she had him staying with her. Then the little daughter was 6, reported that mommy, he took advantage of me. And she had to take him to court. This is a man, 46 man, and told me don't publish. Why would they take advantage of young children and old women? And you do nothing about it. Well, if that's what Dr. Patterson wants, then you know, so be it. If they want, give it to her.
The fellow was actually, molesting his daughter. You know, these things should not be protected. We talk about those individuals who paid the price. Yeah, I understand that they paid the price, right? And they came out and now they got to, live in society. But there's another reality. They have killed the lifeline, the mindset of the individuals that they have offended. They have to live with that for the rest of their lives.
For life.
Yeah, no, it is something to think further about. In fact, the church is asking that the government gives it more thought and consideration, gentlemen. The church is saying you have to be sure. In fact, the Christian Council president is saying you've got to be sure of who these people are before you make them public. So they are also sort of agreeing that, wait, let's just slow up on the sexual offenders registry and making it public. Before we go to the break, Leslie, your thoughts on how that's back and forth.
Register, right? It means that the police will have sufficient evidence to bring charges against you in a court of law. What is this foolishness?
I have no idea.
Come on, man.
I don't know.
Be better than this.
We are thinking, we like to act as though the Bahamas is a bunch of preschoolers in one instance, and then in another instance, they are grown adults. When you go and make vile decisions and create such havoc in the lives of kids or any
91-year-old woman
or the elderly. My God, this woman is just trying to live out her life.
91 years old.
Awesome, she's 91. And these men are going to go and do that. Make them known. In fact, put a big neon sign on the back of their head. Make them known. And then do other things in between time to them as well. String them up.
Don't get it, man.
Listen, this is Weekend Review Fridays.
A poor little child.
No, I
being
don't,
raped by a grown man.
I don't
taking advantage of her.
I don't want to imagine.
You talk about the church?
Bring them up by the genitals.
The lady told me today.
That's it.
Leslie, she said the reason why you got sick, because you said...
No, Friday. Remember you said Friday?
70% of the pastors, you ain't gonna see God's face. So don't talk with them anymore. And I apologize to the mom. I told you I would. It is 70%, but it is what it is.
Listen, Leslie, you did say that Friday. Listen, anyway, I won't repeat it. Beyond the headlines.
Want to be praying for me
we didn't the pastor pray for you? Anyways, we are just getting started. This is Week in Review Fridays on Beyond the Headlines. We're back right after this.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel, and I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Luckily it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. They're big enough now to handle your big loads, you know. Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket. But just look at us. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Oh, stop! You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes you, processes you, and entertains you 24/7.
My name is Charles Wesley Gould. My organic farm is Nice Layers Organic Farm. I have 230 birds up here. I give them fresh water, pumpkin, lettuce, cabbages, all the vegetables. Anything what I eat, they eat. Right now we sell the eggs for $7 a dozen from Monday to Friday. On Saturdays, you can get 4 dozen eggs for $21. I'll be located on Jamaica Road, the western side, Silverstone Primary School.
Oh my God. Hi, those girls weren't standing on business, I'll tell you that. Great job, ladies. Meanwhile, though, gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Newly appointed Parks and Beaches Chairman Jamal Strawn is providing an update on the highly anticipated and controversial in a way. Well, you all know a lot has been made about that audit report. Mikhail Barnaby, the former chairman, said that an audit report was done and being compiled, and now you heard Jamal Strawn is saying that that report basically is sort of complete. You all, Beaches and Parks, roughly 10 years old now, set in place to kind of do certain things, do some of the I guess, the lighter lifting for various ministries, particularly maybe all the ministries, in fact, they do lighter lifting. But what I was made to understand is this authority really established to help those and help give people a hand up. Now it's being audited after a lot's been said about it in the former administration, the one we just came out of, and obviously going into a new administration. Your thoughts on what this authority, where it's headed, and what it's, what this audit report is likely to show?
Well, it's interesting to see what this report reveals. We know that I was here in studio when I think Mr. Barnaby was here, and he indicated to you that they had started this report, and he talked about issues that parks were dealing with, beaches and parks were dealing with, that of unpaid bills that they made in place, and all of this kind of stuff. So the truth will be revealed in this, I'm hoping, and we will see exactly what is what with the expenditures that there's been much talk about in the public about beaches and parks, and we'll get a true picture of what has really been happening over the extent from the Minnis era, the Davis previous era, and so we'll be brought up to speed on this. So it's very interesting. I can't wait to see it.
Mm-hmm. Jumping, Glenroy?
Yeah, likewise, I can't wait to see the report and see exactly where the monies have been spent. The reality is that I know that it's been used to give people a hand up, and there have been some instances where people have gotten more than one hand up. They've have multiple hands up, and so we want to know exactly how that monies have been spent and how much the resources have been used to elevate the Bahamian people. But we also have to come to a point where we can recognize out of the report how much reliance there is upon such entities to help the Bahamian people. And if there's a plethora of individuals that are in need of such services in order to sustain themselves, that means that we have to find other avenues to help make more people independent of having to rely on government services and government entities in this fashion, so much so that they can be liberated and be able to have their own freedom. Because there is a degree of enslavement per se, if you have to rely on a government service like this in order to sustain yourself. And you kind of lose your voice and your opportunity, because now you have to cower in the hopes that you will get such opportunities in order to sustain yourself. But if people become more liberated, it gives them a greater opportunity to be more productive citizens of this country and take more of that burden of the government purse.
I think it's going to be very interesting when this audit comes out, and to a degree as to what the audit has looked at intricately. We had a situation under the minister administration where a minister was relieved, leave of her duties, and there's a case still pending in the courts with someone who's the chairman of it. There's been controversy, and that hasn't been satisfied yet. There's no doubt in my mind that Minister McKell now, Barnaby, didn't do anything contrary. I'd expect the new chairman of authority to do anything arbitrary. As you said earlier, it provides assistance for those persons and provide leverage for them to keep the Bahamas clean, especially with the Wurgis, with all the main corridors in New Providence, especially the parks and those various constituencies. And you got to realize too that the MPs are the ones who would make a request, and it's filtered out to FNM and PLPs, you know. It's not just go to one group of persons. The FNM have the same amount of persons to send forward to get contracts as PLPs do. It's a mixed bag. So, you know, hopefully we'll see what happens at the end of the day. But I expect the leashes would be more tight now than before, you know.
Yeah, I'll tell you, people,
Let us
I
wait to see
remember
before
seeing a video.
casting judgment.
Yeah, I remember seeing a video of a young man who says, listen, thank you, because all of him and his boys are now doing things that are above board. And they are happy to make this money, happy to provide for themselves and their families, and to be able to move their lives along. And so it serves its purpose. It is doing something great. And of course, we all await to see what the audit and what the findings are in that audit. Meanwhile, gentlemen, a United States District Judge in New York has denied bail for convicted Bahamian drug trafficker Jonathan Eric Gardner, ordering that he remains in federal custody as he awaits trial on cocaine, conspiracy, and firearms charges. Gardner was arrested shortly after he and other passengers survived a plane crash off Florida's coast on Election Day while they were en route traveling from Marsh Harbor to Grand Bahama. According to prosecutors, Gardner was found with $30,000 in Bahamian money, which they allege was packaged in a manner consistent with drug smuggling. His attorney, however, argued the money was connected to election and the election campaign activities, claiming the passengers aboard the aircraft were involved in campaign-related work before the crash. Gardner remains in federal custody pending trial. While, though, get this, and then I'll let you all respond. Listen to this. Prime Minister Davis was asked yesterday about the country's campaign finance reform laws. And of course, they are back in the spotlight again because Gardner says, listen, this was election campaign business going on. You know, he talked about the $30,000 being attached to that. Well, the claim has renewed scrutiny of the Bahamas' lack of comprehensive campaign finance legislation, while also raising fresh concerns about why a convicted drug trafficker was carrying around that amount of cash on a flight allegedly chartered by a PLP candidate to transport Bahamian voters to Grand Bahama. In court filings, Gardner's defense attorney argues that the Bahamas does not have a comprehensive campaign finance regulatory framework similar to that in the United States. The filing also points to long-standing concerns raised by election observers about the absence of laws requiring disclosure and political donations or campaign spending. The argument forms part of the defense's effort to challenge prosecutors' claim that the money was connected to drug trafficking. Now, we put this question, everything that's happened, to Prime Minister Davis yesterday.
Prime Minister, what we do have here, we know that it was mentioned this morning that with the ongoing Eric Gardner case, that the funds found on the plane during the Election Day crash, they were campaign funds. Are you able to speak to that?
No. Nope.
Well, that was pretty quick. In and out? No. This is what the Prime Minister said. You all, I know that we mentioned campaign finance reform. Before we jump to and form really firm opinions on this, there are campaign financiers. They are special interest groups who for decades have been funding and financing campaigns. The fact that this gentleman and his attorney put it out there that this is what they were busy doing, and the call has been renewed. Your thoughts on how that should all look?
You know, this is a very serious matter. And the fact that you have this incident transpiring, one, on Election Day, that's a concerning fact. And you have monies that are involved, all right? Then, two, you also have a scenario where he is associating himself with the political party. Who gave him instructions to do what he was doing? That is the question. There was a statement that there was a nothing burger. But this is very serious because he's now in the court indicating that he is actively performing on behalf of a political party on election day with thousands of dollars in his possession with campaign workers of that said political party. That is a very alarming fact. Not only that, you also have him being associated with criminal activities that has been stated in the past. And all of this does not say or share a good light towards the government, nor does it share a good light towards the Progressive Liberal Party. Let's be honest. And so there needs to be some answers need to be made to the public because this is an indictment on the Bahamian people. This isn't just about Eric Gardner. This is about the Bahamian people because on international news, it stated that corrupt government officials, and it also indicated that we are a corrupt people. Because if we can't recognize and see how much activities have been taking place relative to this incident and have nothing to show for it in a sense that gives some distance away from it, that means that we are all implicated. And it needs to be fleshed out. And every time there is a question and answer period relative to this incident, everybody ducking and dodging and ducking and dodging. Meanwhile, the Bahamian people have been left to face the realities of their names being stained internationally.
You know, I find it a little incredible that this focus on the 30,000 US Bahamian dollars on the campaign trail is so substantive and saying that it's related and even packaged like cocaine. I've never heard that term before, that when you put money in the bag, it's equivalent to someone pushing. Come on, man. You know, the United States of America, with the greatest respect, when you talk about campaign financing and the money that they get, some candidates get hundreds of millions of dollars in those races. In any campaign, I've been involved in campaign from 1967 in intermediate, well, 72 to be exact. And in today's world, over the last 30 years, $30,000 is a joke to run any campaign. For example, if he was going, whoever it was going from Abaco to Grand Bahama, you have what, 6 seats or 7 seats down there? And if he was helping any candidate, including Crazy Thompson, who said that this fellow was a family member by marriage to someone, you don't know who he would have given a contribution to because elections are expensive. An average election with candidates trying to win their seat.
The colors they were wearing on the plane.
No, an average candidate is going to spend anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a week paying the people who works for them. That's what I would normally spend a week. $5,000. You got to pay your staff. You got to buy food for them. You got to pay them. You got to give them gas money of $100 a week. I know the last election I just gave gas money, and I pay everyone $250 to $300 a week. And if you have 20, 30 persons working with you, the 30,000 is a joke.
Mr. Miller,
it's a total joke.
But all that is good and said, right? But the reality of it is, look at the person who's actually giving it out. That's the issue.
Fine, I accept that. But why did they not charge him on the narcotics charge? They're emphasizing this $30,000. $30,000 is nothing to run a campaign anywhere in the Bahamas, especially the family islands. What is the big deal in saying you had $30,000?
If his background is in that forum, they're going to judge him from that forum. Because where it is now that you get all this monies and all of a sudden you're doing all of this stuff. It's
$30,000?
Regardless of how much it may have been for campaigning, it's still a bad look for the Bahamian people.
Listen, all parties, FNM and PLP, knows that $30,000 on any given week for an assortment of candidates, if you give each one of them $3,000 to help them with the campaign, that's peanuts. That's just the way it goes. In the United States, you're talking about millions for one candidate. I understand that the police is involved. I accept that. But I'm talking about what they came out with and emphasize this $30,000 as being the crux of it.
And then talking about campaign finance reform, when campaigns worldwide are funded by special interest groups.
Exactly.
It happens worldwide.
No, but that's a different.
What you do, they are funded, and who knows who those special interest groups are. Thank you very much for bringing the water.
This is
Thank
why
you.
the Freedom of Information Act is so important, because we want to know who is funding the governments, and any government for that matter, because we want to know what your special interest is, because we want to know what favors you're going to get as a result of your funding these governments, because it's going to impact us down the line, and that is why we should know. We, the taxpayers, should know this. This isn't something that should be secret.
I absolutely agree. I want to move on very quickly to a lighter, as we wrap up this segment in the show, a lighter topic very, very quickly. And Justin already sent me the indication to wrap, actually. Sebastian, I don't know if if he has his own playbook, whatever he doing all this, because understand what's going on. I know you all have seen, Glenroy, I want to start with you first. I know you all have seen the flyers for his 40% off grocery for everyone in Fort Charlotte. This man is really hitting every ball out the park to be able to make life easier for the residents of Fort Charlotte. Huh? You all, it happens in the month of July. I know you all have seen it. Glenroy, your thoughts?
Well, the young man is certainly on the move. I mean, and he has the resources to do a lot of things that would outshine a lot of the current ministers. And hopefully this will be an opportunity for them to find a way to inject whatever it is that they receive in order to help their campaign.
Yes. Thank you very much, Glenroy. Your thought, Ellington?
I anticipate this coming from a person with the ilk of Sebastian, with his mindset and his thought process of doing things, the things that he's been doing in the communities before his name was even mentioned about Parliament, the things that he was doing to try to uplift Bahamian people on the global stage. He's doing things locally here. He's doing stuff with his annual own conference over there at the Atlantis Paradise Island. And so I didn't expect anything less of him. And it's phenomenal what he's doing, the things that he's doing to touch the residents of Fort Charlotte. I'm telling you, I've been hearing people from other constituencies say, constituencies in the deep west, high-end people who say, listen, why the hell I moved to Fort Charlotte yet? I'm going to move to Fort Charlotte.
Yes.
Because this is the kind of representation. I said earlier that when Sebastian came into Parliament that he would raise the bar, and he is raising the bar of what representation should be like, what it should look like in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas in the 21st century.
You know, when you go to the food stores and see the price of food in this country, most of which is duty-free, eh? Let's get that straight. So Sebastian, being the person that he is, goes to Miami, goes one of the major wholesalers. He's going to get it cheaper than what they have in Miami on the shelf in many cases. There's no duty on it. And I don't blame him. To assist your people there by bringing it in and giving it to them at the cost that you pay. And realize, so let me give an example. Super Value would probably pay $2,000 to $2,500 on a 40-foot high cube container. If one of us was to bring that container to a small grocer, small person, you got to pay $5,000, double. So it's urgent that we bring the cost of living down for poor people. And a lot of his area has those persons that are below the poverty line, believe it or not.
Yes, absolutely.
They are hurting. And if he can provide assistance, I love him for it. And he's the type of MP that you want, except it put more pressure now on his colleagues to step to the plate. That fellas ain't got the resources he has. Unless we don't come to me then. So she got to be, I'll go back to him, Darren, and see.
Let's stay come to daddy.
She coming straight to
daddy.
You, Leslie.
I get it.
She's coming straight to you. Listen, of course, you know, we like to highlight those who are doing very well, and we started it before the election, and we're going to continue it straight through this term, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And so you may hear his name called more than once, or anybody else who is really just taking representation to a whole other level. And so that's why we do that this evening. Meanwhile, though, I want to say a huge thank you and welcome back, of course, Leslie, to you. It's awesome seeing you. God bless you. Of course, Ellington Ferguson, Glenroy Pratt, thank you as well. And of course, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, I am going to shift the mood of this show. You're going to see exactly how you should be showing up and looking for summer. It's all straight ahead. Stay close.
This this year. Island Luck Sportsbook sent one of their very own customers all the way to San Antonio to watch Game 5 of the NBA Finals. The Knicks closed it out right then and there. No Game 6, no Game 7. Our customer was sitting in that arena the night the championship was decided. That's the kind of luck we talking about at Island Luck Sportsbook. Winners live here. Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At Investar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Great to have you all tuned in. I have a special treat for you in this segment because guess what? Well, listen, it's no guessing about it. Summer is officially here, totally. Now, though, in all this heat and all the rest of it, it's no excuse. You still have to look good, smell good. Your skin has to be fantastic. And how you show up in the room also has to make a statement in this heat. How do we navigate all that? Also, other little tricks and wonderful additions to make your summer and make you that much more appealing and impressive this summer season. I have the stylistas of all stylistas and fashionistas and all the rest of it here. She's back. Remember her? She stops by really to talk about Parliament fashion, especially with the opening of Parliament Bill. She's here to talk about summer and summer looks. Latoya Moxie, is so awesome to have you again. Good evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Good evening. It's always so good to be here. I consider myself honored every single time I'm asked to be here. So thank you for the invite yet again.
I am happy to have you here. And you all, you know, Justin, that's it right there, Justin. That's exactly what I wanted you to do. All of this is happening. Latoya, I don't know, maybe let's start with your look.
Yes.
Because you're saying this is also sort of a summer look. Let's talk about the bronzy, glowy skin, all of it.
There's so much to get into, and I hope we have the time to get into all of it because summer trends and must-haves is not just about where we're going for summer and what we're wearing, but it's how we look when we're wearing it, how we feel when we're going where we're going, the whole vibe of summer. And this is kind of the 50% of it. There's much more to this, but I want to start with what I'm wearing today. Hot off of the summer press actually is monochromatic tones, simple, elegant. You choose your color, you stick with your color head to toe.
So there's no color, but
there is a color. There is a summer color. The summer color, the strongest color, the Pantone color for summer, the strongest one is blue. If you can imagine what we saw at the opening of Parliament, there were lots of shades of blue.
Yeah.
Blue is carrying on all through summer. You have shades of blue. So seafoam green, which is in the blue family, that Tiffany blue. You have teal, you have turquoise, you have baby blue, even as far as navy. You cannot leave out the nautical aspects of summer. Why would we do that, right?
I love the nautical appeal.
Yes.
You know, I love greens.
Yes.
And so you can ease into it with the teal.
You can ease into it with the teal,
yes,
the
so
seafoam.
awesome. Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's like teetering on whether it's really blue, whether it's really green, but soft. Pastels are back this summer. So
well, I love the soft look that you have, this wonderful nude.
Because I particularly don't wear a lot of color. I've been wearing blues because I've been thrusted into the color wave that one of my favorite boutiques on the Island, Polka Dots Boutique. They style me for almost every event. Whenever I go shopping in the Bahamas, I shop at Polka Dots Boutique. And I like monochromatic. I like nudes. I like golds, neutrals. Those tones, chrome, that's trending as well. And so for me, I like to keep it simple and elegant. So you'll always either see me in white or gold or some sort of nude family, and I stick with a monochromatic tone. And you do a lot of the excitement with the bejewel. The bedazzle comes in the excitement of what's in your attire, even with your accessories. I keep it simple with gold. Some people prefer silver. A hot color for jewel tone is rose gold. Rose gold, but it wasn't matching with what I was wearing today.
No, of course not. No.
But let's jump from that to I'd be remiss if I don't talk about the rattan. The rattan natural fibers and accessories it's a super trend. And it's not just trend, it's classy. But I want to move over to skincare. Skincare is very important for us in the summertime. Courtesy of John Bull, I have all of this right here for you that we can go through.
Super.
So what I'm wearing today, I don't know if the lights are catching my shimmer,
the
my
lights
glimmer.
catching your shimmer. We see your glow.
So I get people walk up to me all the time. How are you so glowy? What do you? Because sometimes shimmer can go wrong. Shimmer can look like glitter.
It does. Yeah,
and so on our skin complexion especially, you want the right hue, the right tone. And Fenty Beauty from John Bull, Rihanna, they have a shimmer that you actually can pair with your SPF. Because sometimes you can get it wrong in terms of the liquid, the liquid nature of a bronzer. And I think that's really important to know. When you're wearing certain colors like this, you don't want liquid bronzer if it doesn't dry, because all bronzers ain't created equally. They will tell you it will dry and it won't get on your clothes or your skin. You'll be hugging people.
Oh, you can just do this and this is nice. It will not get on your clothing.
No, a quick trick would be to use a shimmer like the Fenty that you get from John Bull, and you pair it with your SPF, which you can also get from John Bull. And I always tell people, one thing, I know black don't crack, right? It does not. However, I mean, when you get the little
sunscreen,
listen, when you get over a certain age,
we need the sunscreen.
You need to be protected. And so I would recommend, I recommend nothing less than a 50 SPF. 50 is where you need to be, especially past the age of 40. If you're out in the sun all the time, you need to make sure that you lather up with your SPF. And John Bull has a really good one at 50.
Let's see this, because I like a sunscreen with some vitamin C in it. I love this hydrating sunscreen, nice.
It's pretty cool. And then they have it for men as well. I don't want men to think that SPF is just for women.
It's just for women.
It's for all of us. And there's a lot of times you go outside and you see men, they would be wearing long sleeves. And the minute they take off the long sleeve and they're wearing short sleeve, you can see the clear distinction between the color.
Yes, you can.
You need the SPF. You need to be able to lather on and moisture and make sure under eye, that gel, hydrate.
Yes.
Hydration of the skin is important during summertime. We're sweating like buckets, yes, but once that sweat dries, then your skin starts to crack. You want to make sure you have hydration. And as hot as it is, I feel like it's as hot as the devil's back right now as we go outside, and the humidity is real.
It is.
But our humidity is kind of strange because it's not even friendly humidity. It's not even wet.
It's just harsh.
It's sticky and salty.
Yeah.
And so you have this mist from John Bull.
I've seen the mists. Like, what are they for? What do you use them for?
So I use a mist for everything.
Because I see when online, these girls, when they wake up, they just go out with the mist, and I'm like, okay, what is that? What I'm supposed to do?
Well, honestly, this is the MAC Hydrating Mist, and I would pack this in any bag that it could fit in, because there will be those opportunities where, let's say you're at an outdoor restaurant, this is the time for brunches. Brunches gone to bed, dinners and brunches and everything in between. And when you're sweating, you want to still feel cool. A hydrating mist will help you feel cool and still give you that glowing feeling and that dewy look that you want. Stay away from the hair, though. If you have a silk press, stay away.
No. You were saying, Latoya, that when you and I are out right now, we're out to dinner, yes,
dinner,
and so we're out or lunch,
and
so we're out. We're in the open, sitting under some nice cool trees. You know how they have it set up many times, and we feel a bit warmed and flushed.
Yeah.
So you can spray this mist, and it dries on the skin.
It's a subtle layer of moisture. I wouldn't say it dries, it moistens the skin.
It moistens the skin.
Yeah.
So therefore the makeup and everything just looks nice. And
it sets.
But not drying.
No,
just looks
you
very,
don't want
very
the dry
glowy,
look.
beautiful.
You definitely
now I know what a
that.
mist is.
Yes. So you can go, the people go all over the place.
Yeah, they do.
just stay away from the hair if you have straight hair like me. But the MAC Fix It Mist is really, really good. This is one of my new favorites. This little baby right here, 8 Bob. It's one of John Bull's newest fragrances. I am a stickler. I think every female and male should have fragrances for every occasion. I have a fragrance for every day. If I'm going to work, you know what I'm wearing. I have a fragrance for a special occasion. So if it's a banquet or a ball or a wedding, you'll know what I'm wearing, or I'll know what I'm wearing. In the summertime, when I'm going out to brunch, or I'm going on a boat day or a beach or just hang out with friends, you want that feeling that it feels like summer. And 8 Bob does that for you.
I like that. You know, it smells a bit floral, which is a summer sort of notes.
Yes.
So it's a bit floral, but it's light and it's beautiful.
Yes.
It's airy.
It is summer in a bottle.
What is the projection and
let me tell you. The notes of this. This I have to tell you. Again, another fun fact. A lot of people get it wrong with how they spray. So let's start there. Not all fragrances are created equally either. Your body chemistry is going to determine exactly what it smells like on you. What it smells like in the bottle is not necessarily what it's going to smell like on you. So always be mindful. And then culturally, I've seen it happen in my own house. They spray the cologne and the perfume all over the clothes.
Yeah.
You can't spray it on the clothes. You
on
have
your
to
skin.
find the pulse points behind the ear, on the neck, at the wrist. Give it about 5 minutes, let it set, and see how that smells on you. That's how you know if it's for you. If you get nauseous after the 6th minute, it ain't your perfume. But what it smells like in the bottle will definitely change based on your body chemistry. And find those pulse points where you can spray it on, and it stays, it lasts. That's one of the tricks of keeping long-lasting fragrances on you. Don't spray it on the clothes, because you sweat through the clothes.
You do. And then the beautiful thing is the scent kind of comes out through the clothing.
Exactly.
And that is when you know it's really done its job, and it'll keep you for the
and you're
entire
not
event.
overpowering the room.
Yeah.
Because it sits on the clothes, it's overpowering the room. You don't get to control what the clothes is given. You get to control your body chemistry, how your body's cooling, heating. The fragrance will react to that, and that's what it's going to give off.
That's what's going to give off. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
John Bull has so much lovely things. My new favorite, because I'm spending a lot of time. I'm not a beach girly. I'm a boat girly or a pool girly. But when you want to put those watches on the side that you don't want to mess up, I'm a lover of silicone watches. And this bad boy here, this is a Techno watch. It is so gorgeous, and it's white. I mean, white is one of my favorite colors, green is. But what I love about this watch, it's beautiful. It looks high-end, it looks luxury, but it's not. It's very affordable. It's under $300. It's actually under $200. And it is an aquatic watch. So this is the OG. This is the OG for our culture.
Summer, all summer.
Let me tell you, every Bahamian dude that sits on a boat that's on the water, they know about the Techno. This water can take you as far as 300 to 400 feet diving. So it looking pretty and cute. It's actually functional as well. And this would be the male watch.
Oh, that's just
it's
nice,
gorgeous,
masculine,
and I think silicone is the way
silicone is nice.
Silicone
it's
is the way to watch. It's durable.
Nice.
It's still sexy.
And this is
you
nice.
can wipe it off.
This blue.
Yeah, I love anything
nice.
nautical is a friend.
Yeah.
And so we even go back to the colors. When we talk about nautical colors, you have navy blue that pairs really good with ivory, that pairs really good with tan. Another thing that's trending, stripes. So when we're talking about nautical vibes, you're looking at the navy blue and the ivory stripes. Polka dots is a big thing as well this summer. Polka dots and stripes. No checks. Leave the checks alone this time. No checkers this season, but polka dots and stripes are huge. And of course, any sort of natural fiber bags. This one is by Tory Burch. It's less than $400. And what I like about it, it's not an everyday bag, but it's a nice weekend bag. You throw it across your shoulder, have some nice sandals on, a wide brim hat, and you're ready to rock and roll. If you're the type of person that don't really like big bags, but still want to be cute, this Marc Jacobs is, I mean, it's so adorable. It's so adorable. Yeah. It's one of those bags you can share with people you live in the house with. I got a 22-year-old daughter. She'll swipe this quick. But for me, as long as you can fit a phone, your lip gloss. I'm waiting for you to talk about lips, like what's summer lips. But your lip gloss, and then your powder just to kind of touch up when necessary, because we have our mist.
after all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So lip gloss, I thought I had it here on the table, but I might have it somewhere hiding. But MAC has an array of lip gloss and lip balms as well.
Like them, yeah.
We have the, let's see, I wrote it down somewhere. I don't have it with me, but Marc Jacobs is literally the summer brand name. But with lippies, I would say MAC still reigns supreme with the lip glosses. And I'm thinking, to match all of the pastels, nude lips, but with ombre liners. So I know some of us back in the, I don't know if you remember back in the 80s and the 90s when we used to line the dark.
Listen, to this second, I hate it. I don't like it.
We're making a little resurgence a little bit, but you have to be subtle.
Yeah.
You don't go 10 shades darker.
No, that
what you
ombre
do,
look is
no, the ombre
nice,
is literally, you find, if you go with a mauve lip, because that is something that's trending, the mauve lip, soft, subtle, not too overpowering, kind of blends in with your skin tone. And you go with a darker cranberry, you just massage that in, blend it in from end into the lips, pop, 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 you're good to go. Then add a little lip gloss, and MAC will hook you up with all of their liners and their lippies, but a mauve tone is always good. I cannot not talk about hair. Hair. Everybody in the Grammy does braids in the summer at one point, right? Yeah. At one point. So I'm about to do my braids soon.
You're doing braids? I've never seen you.
Directly.
I have never seen you in braids.
I have. And it's so funny that people say it all the time. So anyone who knows me knows that I'm natural. My hair's not relaxed. I have not had relaxed hair in almost 20 years, and at least 15 years. So what I do is, for protective hairstyles, I would either go with cornrows or box braids once or twice a year. That's what I would do, or I would wear my hair natural, just stay inside. No, I'm kidding. But I think I do have 2 braids here in my updo. Any kind of braid works this summer.
I like the braids, yeah.
Braids is big. They're literally, like, you can see them kind of interwoven into my hair. And I love the beachy look. Anything loose, free-flowing, airy, that looks like it's hassle-free. And one of the ways I was able to achieve this, Elaine & Co., who's the hairstylist that handled me today, there's three beauty products here that I would normally use. Every Bahamian woman, every black woman, even some white, some Chinese, whoever, they use the hair wax.
What is that?
Hair wax is literally, so this one has a clay type of feel to it, but it's like edge control, but it's better, it's softer.
Moisturizing. And
it is softer, because what happens is some edge control that you do have, it breaks the edges.
They do.
It breaks the edges.
I've seen it.
Let me tell you, edge control has us Bahamian women in a chokehold. We
doesn't
can't
it?
go nowhere without edge
Funny
control.
you said that, because recently I told you I've seen it online.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Even the I better not call names. Even the gels then.
Yes.
That you put on your hair.
We
I
have
was so
to
surprised
and we
to
have
see
to
online
pay
that they break your hair.
They do. They do. And we wonder why we don't have edges past 40, 45, 50, or why our hair's thinning out. We already have issues. When you get to perimenopause and menopause, you're already going to have hair thinning issues. Don't add to the problem. And so switch from that hair, the little edge control, and try a hair wax. It's softer, it's sleeker, and all you need to do is tie your hair down if you need more time for it to set, and it'll work. If you're gonna go with braids, whether they're box braids, boho braids, knotless braids, mousse, this will keep your hair neat, your braids neat and intact. Literally, when you walk out of the hair salon and they spray the mousse on you and they put you under the dryer, that should really be your go-to product until it's time to take your braids out. You sometimes see, because they use the wax to part the hair and to braid the hair to give it a nice sleek look. This mousse will keep it neat for at least 4 weeks. You won't see the fags, you won't see, it'll help keep the little clumps that pile up at the edges away.
Yes.
It'll keep it. Now I would say don't wash your hair when you braid. I'm a stickler for not doing that, but wipe your scalp.
Yeah.
Wipe your scalp down. And if you can't get to it, someone like me, I want to dispel the myth. This is not a white girl product. Dry shampoo works for everybody, especially if you flat iron your hair, if you silk press your hair. After 2 weeks, if you're like me, I work out, I'm very active, I sweat in my scalp. This will keep your hair manageable, give it some volume, give it some life. My hair flat irons bone dry, so it looks like it's relaxed half the time. That's not gonna happen with dry shampoo. If it's not gonna frizz out, it's gonna be nice and sleek.
So it is natural hair
So
friendly.
these are from Elaine & Co. But back to John Bow for a second. My favorite thing on this entire table before we veer right.
I know, yeah, over here.
Would be the Cartier sunglasses.
Oh, let me try
The
them.
trending glasses right now is tinted glasses. Not the little G5 tints you put on the car, folks. It's not going to be the dark black. I can't see eye.
No, I love this brown.
It's sexy,
sort of,
and
very sexy,
you want to be able to still
aesthetic.
have a level of privacy.
You can't. Quickly run through this.
We're coming back. We're coming back.
No, you have to
We're
run
coming
through
back.
this.
We got flowers, bouquets. We got to do bouquets.
So those are summer.
Kim Bastian. We're not doing arrangements. We're doing bouquets for summer. And Bristol has us on lock. We have to come back and talk about the difference between champagne, prosecco, and cava.
If you can come back next week.
Listen,
So
I need you. Bollinger.
yes.
We got Bollinger. Whispering Angel is the rosé for the summer. It is actually literally one of the first rosés ever. Bollinger, actually James Bond. You will find this every James Bond film. And fun fact about Graham Beck. Graham Beck is a sparkling wine from South Africa. It is the only sparkling wine that served at inaugurations. This is served at Barack Obama's inauguration. So you want Graham Beck, and this is a Bristol product, and it is not. These ones are on the dry side. This is on the sweeter side. It's called Bliss Nectar, so ask for that at Bristol. And Hampton Water, this is by John Bon Jovi. He calls it Hampton Water because all summer long, he was in the Hamptons with his family drinking rosé so much, they thought it was like water. Last but not least, this is a Bahamian brand. You're gonna have to pour a little bit in there and taste it. Summer water is my favorite. It's called Free Spirit. It's actually Bahamian.
So what is it?
It's Bahamian made, it's Bahamian canned, it's Bahamian everything.
Ellington is waiting to get in.
Listen,
on this right
these
here.
bartenders,
So
let me tell you.
Describe the drink.
So for everybody, there are people who are not interested in bubbles. So you stick to cocktails, spritzers. This is the most refreshing summer drink. Most refreshing summer drink. I love it with sparkling water and ice and just a little squeeze of lime. The razzle dazzle on that for summer, I mean, it's everything.
Awesome.
Before we go, I have to let people know, Bristol that provided us with all of these. You gotta know the difference, guys, between the bubbles. You gotta know where champagne comes from, Champagne, France. You gotta know where your Prosecco comes from, it's Italy. And you gotta know where your Cava comes from, it's Spain. That's the difference between your bubbles.
Latoya, you must come back this summer to as we kind of maybe merge into fall and let us know what we're looking at and what we should be doing differently. But thank you so much as I hand this Cartier back to her. Thank you, Latoya. I hope you got caught up for the summer. You heard that. Get your bouquet. Get your bouquet. That's how we're moving now.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much. Always well. I mean, isn't she ideal for this? Totally. Looking forward to our next catch up. And I thank all of you very much for tuning in this evening. I hope you enjoyed this segment and the entire show. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Have a blessed weekend, everyone. Look forward to seeing you right back here on Monday evening.
The Verizon Media Group, home of ILTV, Paramount Systems Limited.